Now into Kentucky. The governor's race is another major race we've been keeping our eye on. Democratic incumbent Governor Andy Beshear has defeated Republican Attorney General Daniel Cameron. Yeah, we have team coverage of this as well. As we told you, Peyton and Chance both live from Louisville for us tonight. Yeah, Peyton is at a watch party for Governor Beshear. Chancellor's over with AG Cameron. Peyton, let's start with you because it seems like people are now celebrating.
Yeah, celebrating is an understatement, Rob. Lots of optimism here. There's crying, there's hugging, and the music, it's been very loud. But you know, Governor Andy Beshear did take the stage not too long ago. He addressed everyone here, and I have to say, between every message that he shared or every thank you that he shared, there were chants in the crowd, whether it was his name or whether they were chanting 4 more years. And he had to pause and say, you know what, it is this energy that got me to this point. So he really just, thanked his supporters. He definitely got emotional when he talked about thanking his children. He says, I do this for you, I'm doing this for you. But he also talked about some of his projects, right? One of them being the Brent Spence Bridge. I know that that's been a big topic of discussion, especially since him and Governor DeWine were talking about the design plan for that project. It's a big project, so we really highlighted that. He also highlighted teachers because that's been a big topic of discussion, right? He says teachers, it's time for them to get a raise. What he wants is for the teachers, for bus drivers, for mental health counselors to be getting a raise. It's going to be looking at about like 11%. That is what his goal has been with this election. He addressed that, really speaking highly for those teachers. Also, he's been talking about, this is where he said, quote, anger politics should end right here and right now. I also want to note that he's the second consecutive governor in Kentucky. So, he was up on stage with his entire family. But, let me take a step aside so you guys can see the party. There's actually an upstairs as well, and you can see the blue lights have been going, lots of music. But take a listen here to what one of the people who's been here, she got emotional talking about, what his reelection really means to her.
I am relieved in this insane way. I'm so happy, and it just feels good to be here and be with like-minded folk.
And what does this mean to you that he's been reelected for another term?
It means a lot as a member of the LGBTQ community. It is something that I've looked forward to all year and thought about all year, and I'm glad we're here.
Talk to me about that. Being a member of this community, what does it mean to have Andy Beshear as a voice?
Well, the opposite party does not see me as a human, and I think that's as simple as that.
Lots of emotions and again, lots of embracing here tonight because, Andy Beshear is such a familiar face. Not only did he already serve one term, this is the second term. People also know him for his father, who also was a governor here for Kentucky. So people feel very close to him. They keep calling him a friend, family. So we're going to continue to keep an eye on the party and the festivities here. But reporting live in Louisville, Peyton Marshall, Fox 19 Now.
Peyton, thank you. Let's bring in Chancellor Wynn.
Chancellor, Daniel Cameron just spoke after that race was called. What do you have to say?
So Daniel Cameron, in his concession speech, he was really focusing on crossing the party lines and working together. That was really his message to all those in attendance. We were in this room. That was really the Republican Party for Kentucky. This was their headquarters. This was Daniel Cameron's headquarters all night. Of course, there was a lot of cautious optimism is how they were describing it throughout this evening. But when Daniel Cameron actually took the stage, once this election, once the race for governor of Kentucky was called, and he was making his concession speech, he was really talking about unity, coming together, because he was saying how the next 4 years, Kentucky has a lot of work. They have a lot of things that they need to accomplish while they're in office, and for really all the residents in Kentucky who turned out and voted in the polls. And it was really impressive to hear this message from Daniel Cameron about working together, crossing party lines in order to accomplish goals in Kentucky. Now, we were speaking to Daniel Cameron. We also were speaking to the Attorney General, and we also were speaking to the Secretary of State for Kentucky. And I want you to take a listen to what some of them were telling us.
It has been such an honor to run as the Republican nominee for governor. So thank you all. Thank you so much for your willingness and commit to this campaign and this effort. An effort that was ultimately about our kids and our grandkids. Again, this was about future generations. And as I called the governor to congratulate him, I know from his perspective and from all of our perspectives that we all want the same thing for our future generations. We want a better Commonwealth, one in which we can ultimately be a shining city on a hill.
And as you heard from Daniel Cameron there, he was saying it's about future generations, and that's really what the focus was on. Now, the Republicans here outside of the governor's race, they were taking these other victories. While they may have lost the race for governor in Kentucky, they did take home and win the Secretary of State and the Attorney General. I can tell you right now from looking at the Fox19.com's website, I can tell you Russell Coleman has won the Attorney General here in Kentucky, while Michael Adams, another Republican candidate, has won Secretary of State for Kentucky. And that is really what the Republicans were focusing on, was their other victories. They may have made a concession and lost in the governor's race, but together they do believe that working across party lines with both Democrats and Republicans, with having Republicans in seats like the Secretary of State and the Attorney General's office, that they can accomplish goals over the next 4 years. But of course, we're going to be here tonight, but as you can see behind me, it is starting to simmer down a little bit. In fact, it looks as though all the state representatives and other officials here from Kentucky have already left this room. But of course, reporting live in Louisville, Chancellor Wynn, Fox 18 Now.